Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Decided to sit down for this one. I have been on a mower all day long and feel like I have just been rolling in dust. It's dry and it's hot, and boy do we need some rain. And I know that's the story in a lot of the places around the country, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about something that's actually pretty serious, and it's something that many of you are aware of. Maybe not everything, but you need to be aware of it nonetheless. And it's probably one of those things you should be preparing for and stocking up on. And this is this ammo scare that the Biden administration is apparently trying to limit the amount of ammunition on the market and cause the price to increase. And we're going to get into that here in just a minute. I wanted to remind you once again that this weekend is our local meeting. So if you normally attend or you have attended in the past, it's the same place that we always have it, same time. It's this Sunday, June 26th at 2 p.m. is when the meeting starts. Doors open around noon. You can come early and just mingle, get to know each other, network, that kind of stuff. There are some refreshments available. If you'd like to bring something, it's kind of a potluck type meal. If you'd like to bring something, certainly go ahead and do that. If not, don't worry about it. There's always plenty of food. It's family friendly. A lot of people show up and we learn and we just talk and get to know each other and plan, and it's a good fellowship. So please come if you're able to. If you're new and you want to know where the details, shoot me an email. There's an email address down in the description below, and you can give me that email. And I've been working on getting some of those emails responded. There may be a few, but in fact, I'm going to check here as soon as I get this video done and probably start checking some of my emails and see how many I need to respond to, which is usually way more than I can. But anyways, so this came out a few days ago in the news, and the story is that, and some of you know this, that a big bulk of the ammunition, small arms ammunition that the Department of Defense orders comes from the company Winchester. And they produce a lot, and they produce a lot of the 5.56 round ammunition, or 223, that is, excuse me, very common in sporting rifles, and it's the top round that's shot in the AR-15 and also the military's M4 rifle. And apparently, some of the generals or whoever is in charge of that, and the information that I've been reading is they're trying to track down and see who actually gave these orders or when this discussion happened, and everyone's kind of closed lip on this right now. But the story is that the military told Winchester that, listen, if you want us to keep purchasing your ammunition, you're going to have to stop selling to the civilian market. About 70% of the 5.56 ammunition that Winchester produces goes to the DoD, and about 30% of it is sold on the civilian market, which accounts for about 30 to 40% of the ammunition on the civilian market to the consumers like you and I, for you know, your AR-15s or your Ruger Mini 14s, or you know, all the other different types of firearms that shoot that, but of course primarily it's the AR-15. And so the story is that they said, listen, you need to stop selling ammunition on the civilian market. And this is a little in-run way for the Biden administration to further their gun control agenda. This isn't anything surprising. I mean, this is exactly what Joe Biden has talked about long before he ever became president. He's been very much an anti-gun activist. I mean, that's really what he is. He tries to spin it that, he's just for common sense gun control. We all know that there's no such thing, and that any type of gun control is unconstitutional, illegal, and immoral. And that is exactly what's happening here. No laws are being made. They're not saying that, you know, they can't sell it or they can't produce it legally. They're just working a little backroom deal with the biggest manufacturer of 5.56 223 ammunition and saying, don't make it anymore. This is was reported on a few news outlets. Now, the White House has said, of course, they say a lot of things that's not true, but the White House has said that this isn't true, that this isn't happening, that we're not doing this. But it's very interesting that 50 Republican congressmen have signed on to a letter to the White House and telling them not to do this deal. So if they're not doing this, if this is all fake news, then why are all these Republicans trying to stop it? The National Sports Shooting Foundation seems to be one of the organizations that's kind of heading this up. The president of that organization has kind of apparently taken it upon himself to investigate this. And there's an article on their website that he's talked about it. He did an interview with Glenn Beck. And he said that his sources, and he has spoken with several of these congressmen and senators, and he's also spoken with people off the record at Winchester Ammunition Company, and they've all confirmed that this, in fact, is happening. This is what they are doing. So unless there is enough pressure from, congressmen or maybe even the people, that this deal seems to be going through. And what they're doing is they're cutting off the flow of ammunition in these rounds and this caliber to the civilian market. Now there's a lot more going on here than just, okay, that means that there's less ammunition available. Then of course there's other manufacturers of that ammunition, and so you'll be able to still purchase it. But this is the big boy, okay? Winchester's the big one. And there may be other manufacturers that are as big. I'm not sure that there's any bigger, but especially when it comes to this round, they're the big boys on the block. And so if the ammunition that they make and sell to the civilian market goes off the market, it's going to cause prices to skyrocket. And estimates are that it would cause current ammunition prices of that round to increase by 4 to 6 times. So you're talking the potential to be paying $4, $5, $6 a round for 5.56, which is absolutely astronomical. I would say anywhere between $3 and $6 a round would be possible if this happens, which they know that this is another way. Remember back when they've thought, well, we can't ban guns, so we'll ban the parts for the guns. We'll make it difficult for them to put the parts on the gun. So if your gun breaks, you can't get the part for it, well, then you have an inoperable weapon, something that's useless. It's just a piece of metal and plastic. And this is another way that they are doing this. I believe very fully that this is going to happen now. But there's other things that is going to cause problems with, because according to Winchester, the reason why that they sell so much ammunition to the market, to the civilian market, isn't just because of the money. It's because they have the manufacturing power to expand. So let's try to break this down. So if 70% of their ammunition in this round alone goes to the military, that means that they have a 30% there capability that could also go to the military. And so if we were in an actual shooting ground war and there needed to be very quickly more ammunition for the military, then they could take that 30% going to civilian and just switch it over immediately and send it to the military. So they would immediately be able to increase their manufacturing capacity of military ammunition by 30% just instantly, because it's already there. Whereas if they'd stop manufacturing that civilian ammunition, then they have to, terminate those employees, which I believe they estimate would be about 500 employees, shut down that equipment. They're not going to need as much equipment, downsize the manufacturing. And then if we were ever in a war, say with like China or Russia or something like that, and we needed to very quickly increase the manufacturing production, it would take some time because they would have to hire the people and expand and all that. So there's that going on also. But apparently from the reports that I'm reading, the military says we don't care because we're a bunch of activists now. You know, the military, at least on the top levels, they're not interested in, you know, creating a force that is capable of defeating any adversary. They're not interested in actually defending America and the Constitution. They're just interested in, you know, spreading their woke agenda. And that's what we're seeing here. I think that this is becoming a very real reality. And here's the thing: the White House is, you know, they're doing this little backpedaling thing. Oh no, that's not what we're doing. That's not happening. Well, why not? I mean, you get on TV all the time, and whether it's the spokesperson or the president himself talking about how they want to, you know, enact some kind of gun control legislation. Here's a transcript of just a few days ago. I believe that this was actually over this past weekend when Joe Biden was back at home in Delaware, and he was being asked by reporters about, you know, what's his plans for gun control. And look at this. I wasn't able to find an audio of this. Maybe there is, but if you read the transcript, he flat out says, "Hey, listen, there's more than one way to skin a cat." You know, meaning that, you know, there's a lot of backdoor ways of making gun control happen without, you know, passing legislation, and this is one of those ways. The Obama administration tried this when they tried to classify 223 5.56 ammunition as armor piercing, which of course it is not. It doesn't classify, you know, qualify as that, so they weren't able to do that. But they're always trying to come up with some little backdoor deal, whether through the ATF or through the private industry, to make it difficult or near impossible to purchase firearms or ammunition. And here's the thing: if this happens, and we see, you know, 5.56 ammunition increase in price 4 or 5 times what it is now, a lot of people aren't going to be able to afford that. And if you can afford it, you're not going to be able to afford very much. You know, you're not going to be able to go out and shoot regularly. You're not going to be able to train like you need to. You're not going to be able to stock up because you're dealing with all this inflation and everything else. You're dealing with gas prices at $5+ a gallon and rising. It's come down just a little bit, but believe me, it's not done yet. It'll keep going up. We gotta bring the gas prices down a little bit right before 4th of July. Last year we saved 16 cents on hot dogs, and this year we got to save a few more cents, you know, on gasoline, because they got to have something to brag about. And then after that, you know, sky's the limit. So when you're paying all these prices for all this other stuff, these ridiculous high prices of everything, the average person isn't going to be able to go out and stock up like they need to and should on this ammunition. And that's not even really the big issue. The big issue is this is another attack on the Second Amendment, another attack on our God-given right to protect ourselves against all enemies, foreign and domestic. This notion that, well, it's about the hunting is baloney. You all know that. I know that. This isn't about hunting. This is about protecting myself and my community against evil. And they're going to do everything they can to stop that. So I would suggest, prices are probably already going up. I would guess that supplies, just in the few days that this has come out, has already probably started to dwindle. People are starting to buy. You know, the supplies had gotten back to almost normal. We had that, you know, scarcity because of the, you know, the health crisis, and prices went up, and they've been coming down for the last, you know, several months. If you're able to, I would jump on it and purchase some, because this is gonna create a shortage of ammunition. It's gonna create prices to go up. You know, there's gonna be all this demand and no supply. And even if by some chance they're not able to make this happen, I would say they're gonna try in other ways. Guns and ammunition need to be part of your prepping goals and list. And if you don't do it already, you should be doing it. I know there's going to be someone that's going to ask, well, how much should you have? And I don't know. I don't know that you can ever have too much ammunition. If you don't own any, if you're going out today and you're buying your first AR, I would very quickly make sure you have around 500 rounds of ammunition. And that's just going to start you off. A couple of thousand rounds should be kind of a minimum goal to get to, but it really should go up from there, because here's the deal. Your ammunition you're purchasing isn't just so that you might need it sometime. It's mostly going to be used for training. At a minimum, I would guess, from my personal experience and my personal training, you should be trying to burn off about 100 rounds a month in training. 50 to 100 rounds. And this isn't just going out there and plinking. This is actual real training that you're doing every month. And if you're doing that, you're going to be going through some ammunition. So I know some of you have stockpiles of it, but there's some of you that's just starting off, and so you're wanting to know, how do I get going on this? What are some numbers that are feasible that I should look at? Like I said, if you're going to buy today, you need to be seriously looking at 500 rounds very quickly. And then from that point on, your first goal is to hit a 2,000 round, stockpile, which really isn't much. And then from there, just keep going up as often as you can afford it, because they're gonna start. I mean, they already have. The ATF, just in the last few years, has come up with some of the most ridiculous rulings. I understand the Supreme Court just came out with this ruling that actually favors the Second Amendment and being able to carry a firearm where you go. But make no mistake about it, folks, we're dealing not just with an administration, but a movement globally to take away your right for self-protection, because at some point their globalist movement can only go so far as long as you're able to stand your ground and protect yourself against them. So certainly get out there and make this a pretty serious priority in your preparedness agenda, because it wouldn't surprise me a bit. Like I said, if they're not going to do this, then why not? I mean, they get on here all the time on the TV and internet all the time bragging about how they want to take your guns away from you and get these assault weapons off the streets and everything. Well, then why wouldn't they take the ammunition away if they could? If they had that opportunity, they most likely would. So I'm not buying the story from the White House that this is just fake news, when there's too many sources that are saying that it's not. Get your houses in order, folks. Prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually, because they're doing everything they can to attack you and your family. Hope to see many of you this weekend at our local meeting. Thank you for watching. Catch you in the next video.